Okay, so
Okay. Yeah.
we're here to tell the story of how Secret Job Society came about. So I'll just start at the beginning. I've always been a very curious individual about people, things, places. All the things are important and everything matters to me. And I was traveling back to Arizona from Ohio, which is where I'm from.
Mhm.
And my flight got delayed because it was super cold and they had to de-ice the wings of the airplane before we could take off.
Mhm.
And so I'm sitting on the plane and I have a window seat and I can see the wings of the plane. And this man comes up on this trolley and he has this water gun type of tool and he's spraying these chemicals out. And as he's doing this, in my head, the only thing I'm thinking is, I know he didn't grow up saying he wanted to be a plane de-icer. So
Right.
how did we get here? Is this the only thing that he does all day? Are there other aspects to what he does for a living? Does he hate this job? Does he love it? Is it dangerous? Who regulates this? I had all of these questions within the span of 30 minutes, and it like opened Pandora's box to all of these other professions that we don't hear of, but that are honestly super necessary.
Totally.
I wouldn't have been able to go home had that guy not been there. And also, I feel like it relates to, which we'll get into later, me doing barefoot massage therapy, because I didn't grow up saying that I wanted to do that. And so I had the idea for the podcast, but like something wasn't right. I bought microphones and, I had actually reached out to a local Foley artist, but, like things don't happen until it's time to happen. And so earlier this year in the summer, a mutual friend of ours, Amber, introduced me to Hamed and his wife, Mona. And immediately we hit it off. Like immediately discovered how curious of an individual you are, how hungry you are to like discover more and like uncover things. And after I met you, I'm like, oh, like you're the missing piece. Like I want you to be my co-host.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I asked you while we were at the event.
Party,
Yep. And I said, I would love for you to like come on my podcast, blah, 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 blah. And you were like, yeah, like I'll be a guest. And
I thought you meant I'd be a guest. I'm like, hell yeah. I've done podcasts before. Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, dang, like I don't want him to be a guest. I want to be a co-host. So I'm like, I'm not going to bring it up right then and there. So then Mona had a tea party for her birthday.
Yes.
And you were excited about the podcast in general. And you were telling your friend.
Another mutual friend,
about it. And you were like, Kristen, tell her about the podcast that you want me to be a guest on. And I was like, I want you to co-host the podcast.
Well, the way you said it, you looked at me and smiled and said, Hamed and he's going to co-host. And I was like, oh, I didn't know, but it felt like, I was like, I totally want to co-host, not just like be a guest. Because I've been a guest on podcasts before, because I also have an interesting route and career that we'll, of course, talk about. But it felt like totally right. And it's like an element of creativity that I want to explore. And I believe strongly people will resonate, and we'll see where things go. I don't have any specific intent. Yeah, but it was a very cool moment for me, like someone basically offering me a job or position on the spot that I never really imagined I would do up until that moment. I always saw myself as a guest. So it was a cool, like all of this just boom right there. The energy was like total positive, and I was like, absolutely.
We're going for it.
We're going for it.